Become a DangerVille member to support the channel and gain access to all these exclusive perks. Click join now to check out your options. Godzilla has been the toughest titan known to man ever since its inception in 1954, with various earth-shattering abilities throughout the years, ranging from his signature atomic breath to magnetic superpowers and full-on nuclear pulses. It's safe to say Godzilla has yet to meet a challenger worthy of taking the crown of King of the Monsters. That is, until today. A new titan has entered the limelight from the recently released monster fighting game, Gigabash. Rawa, the Great Dragon King, is the latest huge reptilian monster that's ready to take on the King of the Monsters and win the hearts of monster fans across the world. So, how does Rawa compare to the legendary Gojira? Well, let's take a look, and make sure to stick with us to the end for our review of Gigabash. I'm Alastair, and welcome to DangerVille. Rawa was first sighted in 2009 on Tarabak Island, essentially Gigabash's equivalent to Monster Island. Rawa is nicknamed the Extinction Dragon, and the reason why will become obvious in just a minute. Many centuries ago, Tarabak Island was overrun by many giant monsters called Titans. They fought each other for dominance, and it became an unending cycle of chaos and destruction. Early humans that called the island home were doomed to live a perilous life. Nowhere was safe for their families, and they had to constantly run from their lives, living a nomadic lifestyle. Until one day, the Great Dragon King came into being and crushed every other titan. The Titans were no match for the sheer might of Rawa, and all those that challenged him would be burned to cinders by his ethereal flames. It didn't take long for everyone on the island to bow to their new god. For the first time, the island knew peace and order. The once struggling humans finally had a purpose and established a foothold on the island and built the great civilization of Tarabak. Rawa is a species of ancient reptile that stands at 42.7 meters tall and weighs approximately 380 tons, which is about 20 foot shorter and 19,620 tons lighter than Showa Godzilla. But what Rawa lacks in mass, it makes up for in strength and abilities. The beautiful gold plating isn't just for show, it acts as tough armor to defend itself from heavy enemy assaults. This has led to the monster coincidentally taking an almost samurai-like physique, with the head intimidating that of a shogun warrior's helmet. The part of the body with the most plating is the head, since it's where the primary source of attacks come from. Rawa's huge rhinoceros beetle-like horn can be used to strike his enemies, being sharp enough to cut his opponents in half. He also has a similar horn on his tail, which acts as a scythe as he swings and slices enemy titans. Being a dragon, Rawa has the ability to breathe supercharged ethereal fire, hot enough to scorch the very ground beneath his feet. This can stun enemies and severely burn them, giving Rawa a huge advantage in ranged combat. Upon using these fire attacks, Rawa has to ventilate the heat through orifices in his shoulders, which burst out in wing-like formation amongst his back. This can come as an advantage for the Dragon King, as he can thrust himself forward at great speed and charge at enemies at such a force that sends them flying across even the largest of cities. As well as these, Rawa has some ultimate abilities that really set this one apart from its competitors. The Dragon King has an extinction beam ability which exterminates all life in a massive cone of ethereal fire that gradually focuses into a devastating beam. No challenger can escape this attack. Not only this, but when low on energy, Rawa can sacrifice the rest of its life force in a form of mutually assured destruction through a supernova blast, where ethereal energy bursts from his body like that of a nuclear bomb. This destroys everything in the vicinity of the explosion, but also sacrifices whatever life is in Rawa, leaving him vulnerable as he needs to regain his energy. But the blast itself is enough to leave entire cities in flames. Now, with all this accounted for, is Rawa more powerful than Godzilla? Well, it's definitely close. Rawa has many more devastating abilities at its disposal and is more agile than the king of the monsters, but Godzilla still has size and mass at his disposal. But I think it's completely within reason to believe that Rawa could in fact kill Godzilla. By utilizing his Imperial Charge, Ethereal Fire, and Extinction Beam, the Dragon King would overwhelm Godzilla and wipe him off the face of the Earth. After everything we've gone over today, I think it's safe to say Rawa earns the title of Extinction Dragon. Now that's our Titan breakdown of Rawa from the recently released monster fighting game Gigabash. This is easily my favorite monster from the game, since it fits that giant reptile archetype like Godzilla, which is always the type of character I pick in video games. But what even is Gigabash, I hear many of you cry out? Well, it's a new kaiju game released for PS4, PS5 and PC, made by Passion Republic Games. Is it worth picking up? Let's take a look. At first glance, it may look like a spiritual successor to Destroy All Monsters or War of the Monsters, but in reality, it's much more than that. From the get-go, you get to pick out of 7 monsters: the mad rock beast Gorogong, the extraterrestrial Pipijuras, the mech giant Thundertross, the lovable yeti Wooly, the great devourer snail Skorak, the Ultraman-like Gigaman, and the ancient rose monarch Rowana. But after playing several chapters of the story mode, you get to unlock 3 more titans: the Dragon King Rawa, the Sentinel Ziva, and the urban skyscraper titan Concrete. Each have their own set of abilities and skills, so there's plenty to choose from to find the titan that suits your playstyle. And you have 17 different maps to choose from, all with different aesthetics such as the USSR-inspired Slavograd, or the Hawaiian-like Kahu's Republic Beach, or the GGN Tower in the heart of Tokyo, Japan. Each map is designed to mix up the gameplay, with some maps consisting entirely of skyscrapers, whilst others are wide open spaces. I personally love the Kimura district. Being able to destroy buildings in the midst of combat is just so satisfying. And some maps have dynamic mechanics such as floods, volcanic eruptions, and my favorite, an intercontinental ballistic missile that you can grab onto and fly into your enemy. There's a variety of modes to choose from in Gigabash, ranging from your standard free-for-all brawls and 2v2 fighting matches to full-on ridiculous mayhem modes where you can pretty much play a kaiju-sized game of hot potato with a nuclear bomb or play the floor is lava in an active volcano. It's tons of fun to play with friends and is a perfect party game since it supports couch co-op. It had me and my friends crying with laughter at how ridiculous the game could be. Perhaps the best addition to the game is that it has online capabilities. The reason I've wanted the Pipeworks Godzilla trilogy to be remastered is so I can play with friends across the world. This game finally allows me to demonstrate my kaiju fighting skills in online matchmaking so I can kick Jacob's ass from across the pond. Outside of the standard modes, you have a pretty basic story mode that has you follow 4 different monsters in a set of 5 missions each. They act as pretty good training modes, although some of the boss battles can prove to be extremely challenging. Before a mission starts, you're greeted with a nicely animated sequence that can provide backstory and lore to some of the monsters, my favourite of which was Gorogong, where we got to see it terrorize a tribe on Luana Island. The story missions are very short, you could probably finish the entire mode in one sitting if you had time, but they're fun for what they are. I'm just happy they even gave us a story mode in a time where so many multiplayer games release without campaigns. The game also sports a tutorial and gym mode where you can practice all the movements and combat techniques to be the top of the class. As for collectibles, by doing various tasks such as leveling up and completing story missions, you can unlock lore about each titan, music to listen to in the background, concept art from the game, and various commendation badges. You also unlock various skins for the titan you play as, which helps make every match feel fresh. My personal favorite is the Holotail skin for Rawa. I don't know why, I think it's because it reminds me of the purple elites from Halo. The game is overall really great, although I do have some gripes with it. In my playthrough of the campaign, there were a few bugs, one of which was the sound on some missions just didn't play. which was quite disorientating since that kind of feedback is necessary for a fighting game. Also, the mayhem modes, which are in my opinion the most fun part of the game, aren't actually playable online. You can only play them locally. The matchmaking is only for standard fighting modes like free-for-all or 2v2, which is a shame because I can really see this becoming the next Fall Guys. It's that fun. In regards to the pricing, £28 is not a bad price, but it may still be a bit high of an entry point for the general audience who may not be super kaiju fans. And unfortunately, someone at Sony messed up and priced the game at £45 at launch, which must have hurt initial sales, which is a massive bummer since that's the most important time for a game to succeed. This seems like the kind of game that will find new levels of success if added as a free game to PlayStation Plus or added to Xbox Game Pass. Overall, Gigabash is a super fun game that's still in its infancy. There's plenty of room for growth, but I think we have a new monster classic on our hands. I genuinely haven't had this much fun playing with my friends and laughing at the sheer ridiculousness of a game for a long time. We're going to give Gigabash 8 Gigamen breaking their backs out of 10. Rawa is a badass new titan that I welcome to the ever-expanding kaiju scene with open arms, and the game it's accompanied by is such a blast to play. Definitely pick it up and see which monster suits your playstyle. Before I go, I'd just like to say this video has not been sponsored by Gigabash. It's just a video about a new game I feel you residents would really like. I'm so glad to see such a resurgence in monster games recently, with Dawn of the Monsters that released last year, and now Gigabash. And with the new Godzilla and Kong movies and shows coming out, it's never been a better time to be a kaiju fan. If you enjoyed this Titan breakdown of Rawa, then leave a like because it lets us know what you want to see more of. What Titan should we break down next? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of DangerVille today. I've been Alastair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.